Hi. So, I just wanted to pop on really quick and let you know that my schedule is changing a bit, I think. I don't know. So, for that reason, I'm going to close my books for personal readings for the time being. Obviously, the people who already have readings scheduled, nothing changes for you. We will do those readings on those dates and times, but I'm just not going to take any new bookings, at least for right now. So obviously, I will let you know if that changes. We're talking about May. Shouts out to you, May babies, Taurus and Gemini. I'm a cusper. My birthday is on the 20th. Oh my gosh. So, anyway, without further ado, let's get into the reading. We're going to be using the Angels and Ancestors Oracle deck. And then we're using this tarot deck. I need to find the name of it. It doesn't come with a book, which is really annoying to me, but I'll figure it out. I'll Google it because I have no clue. I got it a couple years ago. So without further ado, and obviously because of my schedule, the videos are going to come out probably a bit more sporadically. Just an FYI on that too, if you care. But yeah, let's get into it. Okay, let's see this next. 1-4. Great. So I'm going to try to make these like a little shorter because your girl can get long-winded. But now it's like, when you go from kind of having an abundance of time to like the opposite, trying to find time all of a sudden. Anyway, point in saying all that is that these are still very much a priority for me, and I love putting these messages out. So, if they're a little bit shorter, then I can do more in a day. So, if you care, if you don't, whatever. So, you are a 1-4. First line is the investigator. Fourth line is the opportunist. So the investigator is all about knowledge. You might lead with insecurity in some instances, just because, again, your sense of security comes from your knowledge and understanding of a subject. Like, you may be one of those people that, like, you're not going to speak on something unless you know what you're talking about. So yeah, again, just, it's almost like that lifelong student thing, but not necessarily like, college or whatever, but just, having an affinity for information, wanting to know as much as you can about whatever interests you. And then the fourth line, the opportunist line, is all about networking. And, your greatest opportunities are going to be found within your network of people. It doesn't have to be specifically like your closest friends. You might have a lot of acquaintances. You might just know people, kind of sporadically everywhere. But also, you're able to take that knowledge that comes with the first line and you're able to kind of universalize it to your network, to the people that you know. So, with fourth lines, I always say, like your greatest opportunities are going to be found within your network. So if you're looking for a job, just maybe even mention it to a few people. Hey, I'm looking for a job. If you hear of anything, let me know. And then it's just kind of like, eventually something will find its way back to you. Like, oh, so-and-so just mentioned that they're hiring for whatever, let me get you in touch with them. Or even relationships, like you might meet substantial like relationships through your network of friends or acquaintances, even work maybe. Um, so, even like as far as dating goes, like, you know, maybe look within your network, or again, even just kind of putting the word out, you know? And I keep using the word like networking, but it's like, going to like a friend's barbecue or a friend of a friend's barbecue, or just, yoga. And there's like an extra yoga class that they're like putting on that maybe has an interest to you, and going to that. I'm trying to like pull examples out of my head, but I'm sure you probably get what I mean. And, like with human design, your profile is only one aspect of your full design, right? You have your type, which comes with a strategy and authority. That's going to help you enter into the correct, quote unquote, experiences for you, even if it doesn't make sense to you sometimes. And your profile is how you interact with the people and the energies of those experiences. So, they all kind of work in tandem together. Your profile, again, is just kind of one little aspect. And then we have spring. See your seeds grow. I love that, especially because we are technically in spring in the Northern Hemisphere. And I know we're going into summer. So, it definitely has like spring vibe to it. There obviously were seeds that you planted. I'm hearing, even if you didn't realize it, there were seeds that you planted some time ago that may be coming back around, or even just, of course, sprouting and growing. We have I don't know if that's like a jackrabbit, or, it's a rabbit, I think, of some kind. And I just kind of keep thinking of like reproduction. We have the moon. Interesting way to start. That is Cancer or Pisces, depending on who you ask. But traditionally, Cancer is ruled by the moon. We have the Strength card and Temperance in the reverse, which is really effing interesting because I don't shuffle reversals into the deck. And those two cards came out together, and Temperance was already in the reverse. In the reverse. Ugh, hold on. That was a Magician that went flying. We have the Four of Wands. We have the Tower. And the Nine of Wands. And then the Eight of Wands at the bottom of the deck. Two of Pentacles in the reverse. That is so interesting to me. Eight of Pentacles. Four of Pentacles. Huh. That is interesting. In the sense that, like I said, I don't shuffle reversals. So, if they are reversed, they are reversed for a reason. So we start with the Moon card. And like I said, that's associated to Cancer or Pisces, or can be Cancer or Pisces, or doesn't have to be. I'm just going to point it out. We have Leo with the Strength card and Sagittarius with the Temperance card, Aries with the Tower. Because the Tower is Mars, Mars is associated to Aries. So the moon talks about intuition. There's also, a full moon coming up this weekend in Sagittarius. So, depending on where Sagittarius is in your chart, that could have some significance to you. It doesn't have to be. Again, I'm just going to point it out if it drops into my mind. So the moon talks about intuition. It's also a lot of, subconscious. It's like the things that make us who we are, like it's our identity, our personality, but it's not really like the stuff that we necessarily think of because it's all subconscious. you know? I mean, you would really have to like intentionally dig in there to discover it. It's a bit, of uncertainty with the moon card because it does talk about, things have yet to be revealed, or even just kind of feeling like there's like something missing, or you don't have all of the information yet. And, that first line, like I said, they are going to lead with insecurity until they have enough information. And I'm also saying that from personal experience. I'm a 5-1. So, that first line is on the design or the subconscious side for me. And I do feel like I lead with insecurity, especially if I don't have enough information, whatever enough information is for you and for me. I'm sure it's probably different. And it's, there's a duality aspect with the moon too, because we have this wolf that is obviously howling, and then in its shadow or in its reflection, there is this black wolf with glowing eyes, so it's like, it's the parts that we show to people maybe don't match how we feel on the inside, is kind of the vibe that I'm getting from that, which is interesting. And with the Four of Wands, wands have to do with action. It's the motivation behind our actions also. It's, desire, passion. How are we communicating those things? What is our motivation around those things? What actions are we taking towards those things? And usually, like with the Four of Wands, it is a card of celebration. It's reaching a point of, success. Like the steps that you have taken thus far have gotten you to a point of stability and a firm foundation. Because, there's four wands. They're usually kind of set up in like a square or rectangle type shape, which is generally considered to be pretty sturdy. Even this bonfire here, that's what's created out of those four wands. So it's like, the four wands all coming together, creating this, cage or contraption in order for this bonfire to even be possible. But it also talks about unity. Some people see it as a card of marriage. So it's interesting that the moon card is coming out with the Four of Wands, because clearly, like there's something that has either yet to be revealed to you, or it's about to be. The Spring card says, embrace the change that is on the horizon. Allow your dreams to become a reality. Spring is an exciting time because it has so much potential. Animals are coming out of hibernation, flowers are pushing up through the soil, and the days are getting lighter and brighter. The Spring card features a wild hare because in Celtic animal medicine, the hare brings intuition and rebirth. Hares are generally fertile beings, and so their medicine can bring dreams of life. You are ready to bring life to all of your ideas, inspirations, and projects. When this card appears, you are moving into a space that allows you to really grow, expand, and create in a way you've never done before. There are opportunities for abundance, including financial growth, if you're starting something new. Prepare for a major expansion in your life and soul. When the Spring card arrives in the future position of a spread, or as the last card in a reading, it can also indicate that the coming spring will usher in important energies, which is not really relevant to this, since, it kind of came out first. So, yeah, it almost kind of has this feeling of like being in the abyss or something, like, and especially because, okay, so we have these two, both, it's nighttime in both. The Four of Wands also talks about community. So, again, even that fourth line, right? The Strength card is about endurance, determination, perseverance. It's not necessarily physical strength. It's more internal, it's like I said, it's that determination. It's sticking to something. And anytime I see a snake like this too, I think Kundalini. So, there could be some sort of like awakening happening within you. If you know about Kundalini, you would know what I mean. If you don't, you should look it up, because generally we have this pelvis bone here, and it generally does, kind of begin in the root, and then, the snake symbolism, like it goes up through the crown. So anytime I see a snake like that, I'm going to point that out. I'm going to mention it. But, and also, like I said, Strength is a card of Leo. So it's also showing up. It's showing up when you don't even want to. And maybe that's, what's going on over here with the Moon card and the Four of Wands. Maybe there's just kind of like a weird vibe going on within a group, or within a relationship, or, work, whatever it is. And the Strength card is, again, right? It's showing up. Brene Brown has that mantra that, I can't remember what book it was in that she mentioned it, but anytime I'm like nervous or scared, like to do something, I always repeat it in my head, and it goes, I won't shrink, I won't puff up, I'll show up, and I'll be seen. That's it. Like allowing yourself to show up, especially when you don't want to. It could even be having a tough conversation, if that's what needs to happen. It could even just be a difficult realization, like within yourself. This card, the Spring card, is talking about change and allowing, like that change to come in, and change is not always easy peas. And especially it's paired with the Tower card. So we have 4, 5, 6 fire cards out here. 1 water card. And it's the one water card that's like, maybe you're even trying to wrap your feelings around the situation. Maybe you're trying to figure out how you do feel about a certain situation. And maybe that certain situation is whatever is going on with this Four of Wands. It is interesting that the rest of the cards that are out here are fire. So the Tower card, like I said, it's associated to Mars. Mars, I think, is actually in Leo right now, I believe. So, you might even want to see where Leo is in your chart, because Mars can be a bit uncomfortable. It can be a bit pushy too. But it's also, like it is going to like almost demand that you do show up, and that you show up confidently. I'm thinking Emperor, because Emperor is also associated to Mars. Even though I know we don't have the Emperor out here. Did we see it somewhere? Different reading, sorry. So, the Tower card can be uncomfortable. And that could even be why the Strength card is showing up with it. It's like, again, allowing yourself to be present, and allowing yourself even to like be conscious of the changes that are going on, even if they are uncomfortable. The Tower talks about sudden upheaval, sudden change, belief systems crumbling. I mean, there's this like literal forest fire going on in this card. This tent is on fire. It's being struck by lightning. This is almost like, kind of worst case, like kind of scenario here. But the purpose of the Tower is to take out what is no longer serving. It could even be collapsing timelines, because sometimes timelines stay open because we're expecting closure or we just don't want to let it go. And the Tower can be uncomfortable if we are resisting. But, sometimes there is no closure. There doesn't need to be a closure. Closure is kind of like an ego thing anyway. So, it's like closing the old stuff so that what is for your highest good, what is going to serve your purpose, can show up. That is the purpose of the Tower card. And then we have Temperance in the reverse. Now, Temperance is about alchemy. It's, blendings of energies. There's a patience aspect with Temperance also, because, and I always bring up this analogy anytime a Temperance card comes out, about tempering chocolate. Because there are certain steps that you have to go through, and those certain steps take a certain amount of time to get through. And if you try to rush through them, or if you try to skip steps, then your chocolate isn't going to temper correctly. It's going to be ruined. You're going to have to start from the beginning, all because we either didn't honor the process of tempering the chocolate, or we tried to skip steps. We tried to rush through it. So, again, like Temperance is, it's things coming together in divine timing, not our time, which is two completely different, of course, things. So with it being in the reverse, that can be resistance. It can be trying to have too much control. Even, like looking at this card in the reverse, it feels like an optical illusion. At least for me, like as I stare at it, I'm like, because upright, it's a peacock. Upright, you can tell that these are peacock feathers. There's, this action happening in the middle. The peacock has their wings wrapped around it, but like in the reverse, there's, again, it has a different vibe to it. I don't necessarily, like I said, it feels more like resistance, impatience, like there's, like kind of sticking your hand in the cookie jar, like trying to be too controlling of how things go instead of allowing them to unfold in the way that they're going to unfold. And then we have the 9 of Wands, which is about, the 9 of Wands is generally the wounded warrior. It's, like your ass is thoroughly kicked by life, like just experiences and life lessons. And, because again, right, Wands having to do with the actions that we take, the motivations behind them. So when we get to the 9, first of all, it's individual completion. So there is a level of finality that comes with the 9 of Wands. It does say that, the worst is over, but you're not quite there yet. There's also even this, with these lanterns here, it's interesting because it almost kind of has the same-ish, like, optical illusion thing as the Temperance in reverse does. Because, like, this is how it would look if it was reversed. And this is how it looks, obviously upright. I don't know. It just kind of feels like it's taking me a little bit on a ride. But with the lanterns there, it has a ceremonial aspect to it. It has, the feeling of releasing something. Even also how, the fire is creating the ability for, these lanterns to actually take off and be in flight, like, like a hot air balloon, right? So again, there's this, kind of release aspect to it, the ceremonial ending to something. Even just the juxtaposition between the colors on the Nine of Wands and the Temperance card, like, again, if it is resistance, there is this energy to release, release the resistance, kind of like surrender, even, just energetically, just, like get out of your own way, kind of type of vibe with that. We have the the Eight of Wands, which typically the Eight of Wands is really fast moving. It can be communication, unexpected or not. It could just be a conversation that you have. Again, even like I was saying at the beginning, right? Like your greatest opportunities are going to be found within, like your network, or like, just a group that you have an acquaintance with. It doesn't have to be, like your besties or just people that you know very well. Like I have a friend who's a 2-4, and she has the best luck with the Facebook group of her town. Anytime she, which is a completely different experience than like what I have in my town Facebook group. But her greatest opportunities and finds have been in that group. She doesn't know anybody in that group. But, she's a part of the group for one. Obviously, she's part of the group on Facebook. She lives in the town, So it doesn't even have to be people that you actually know. But Eight of Wands, fast moving. The Two of Pentacles having to do with our money, how we get it, how we save it, how we spend it. It's our time, it's our physical body, our home, literally anything we can touch, anything that has value. And traditionally, the Two of Pentacles talks about balance. It's balancing responsibilities. It can even be juggling responsibilities. Again, even the snake card, there's this infinity symbol. It, that just kind of talks about how, the flow of energy. It never quite, it doesn't end. It just either changes or continues, We have these two eggs that have already cracked, because we can see these little snake heads sneaking through. And so again, with it being in the reverse, this could be a message about being cautious about, like juggling and your responsibilities. It could even just be feeling out of balance. And then we have the Eight of Pentacles after, which is interesting. We have two eights here with a 2 in the middle. Eight of Pentacles is about practice. It's about focusing your energy on a thing in order to actualize it. Like you don't just get good at something by doing it one time. So it's, again, recognizing that if something is important enough to you, that you'll put your time and attention and your physical energy into the thing. And then the Daughter of Pentacles, which is the Page of Pentacles, 4 of Pentacles. The Page of Pentacles is the Apprentice. We have this seed that's sprouting here. Even going back to spring, see your seeds grow. Like there's the seed that's growing there. So I don't know, even, like with the Two of Pentacles in the reverse, it's like, again, is there something that you're resisting, like it could even be putting resources or materials into a project. I'm going to leave it there. Thank you so much for allowing me to read your cards. I'll talk to you soon. Bye.